The champion out of the Central Division, the Wachusett Lady Mountaineers. A great matchup here and an incredible environment here on the campus of Worcester State University as we have come to the final game of the 2017 spring sports season. And really for the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks, the journey to this day here today started just about a year ago when they were eliminated from the playoffs in 2016. At that point, Coach DeVito tapping the three incoming senior returning players left on the roster, Allie Atherton, Caitlin DeCapua, and Maggie Farrell, to lead this team for the year to come. And from there, the long journey began of off-season workouts and captain's practices until finally this past March, the 2017 team was officially assembled. Preseason workouts ensued, and finally, the 2017 regular season began in early April of this year. It started out in inauspicious fashion for Milford with a loss on opening day, but that is the final loss they suffered en route to the day here today. A 19-win regular season, 19 consecutive victories, leading way to 4 victories in the Division I South bracket, a victory in the state semifinals, and all of that leading to the day here today, a state championship berth. Once again, the third time in the last 6 years that Milford has played for a state championship, and they will look for that state title today against the Wachusett Lady Mountaineers, who came out of the Central Division, their first ever district title, en route to their first ever appearance in a Division I state championship game. And as I bring in my broadcast partner now for the game, Anthony Mazzini. Anthony, what a ride it has been for this 2017 year for Milford. Incredible performances. We've seen many of them here in these playoffs, and now all leading to today, the final 2 teams standing in Division I. What a moment for these 2 teams.
It's really a great moment. It's a great moment, you know, just the atmosphere you get to play on the campus of a college university. That it doesn't really get any better than this. And as for Milford, I spoke with Allie Atherton after the game in the semifinal win over Newton North, and she said that there was something special about this team. She didn't really know what it was. There's a lot of team chemistry. She pointed to that as one of the main driving factors. These players have been playing together for a long, long time, dating back to elementary school and middle school and stuff like that. And she said that they started their preseason tryouts in November. So this is just the kind of dedication that this team has. And really, they've been relying on Allie Atherton, especially these last couple games. The offense hasn't been as sharp. They averaged over 10 runs per game during the regular season. And with the exception of the Norwood game when they won 17-1, the offense has kind of been stagnant. 4 runs against Silver Lake, 3 runs against Newton North. It's been Allie Atherton that's been leading this team, not with the strikeouts, hasn't been striking out many, but she's been leading this team 2 consecutive shutout wins to get Milford to this point. And as for the Lady Mountaineers, this is unfamiliar territory for them. They don't really know what to expect. They've never made it this far. They have a very good team. They're also led by a very, very good pitcher, Liv Strasser. We'll talk about her a little bit later on as the game progresses, but she's been spectacular over the course of this entire season. So each team led by solid pitching as well as solid offenses. I think we're going to have a very competitive game, even with the experience for Milford and the inexperience in this situation for Wachusett.
And already now the emotion starting to ramp up at field level. We just saw the meeting at home plate between the captains of these 2 teams. Again, captains on each side that have seen a long road to this day here today. And a lot of the seniors on both of these teams trying to soak it all in as we are right now about 10 minutes away from the scheduled first pitch time. Again, Milford taking on Wachusett. And as we get a few more points in prior to the start of this game, just quickly, more to Anthony's point, talking about the dominance of Allie Atherton leading this team to the spot where they are right now. So far in the playoffs, she's thrown 30 in the 3rd innings. She has a perfect 5-0 record. She started all 5 of Milford's playoff games, and in total she's allowed just 24 hits through those 5 starts, 4 runs, only 1 single earned run so far through this playoff run, 6 walks to 15 strikeouts, and a minuscule .23 ERA through these 5 playoff games. And again, you expect the offense, Anthony, to have a downward trend as the games get more and more difficult. You're seeing tremendous pitching really on both sides. But for Allie Atherton, absolutely no question that she is the biggest reason why they stand here today, 1 win away from a state title.
Absolutely. We talked about it a little bit against Silver Lake, I believe, where you get the uptick in competition when you start getting into tournament time. But this is kind of unexpected for Milford. Only 4 hits as a team against Newton North. Luckily, Jess Tomaso was able to come through and drive in 1. Kate Irwin also with an RBI and another run scored with an error for the Lady Tigers of Newton North. So, but like you mentioned, Tim, Allie Atherton has just been dominant on the mound. She hasn't been doing it with the strikeouts. She struck out way more batters during the regular season than she has during the postseason, but that doesn't matter. She's playing to contact, and the defense behind her has been spectacular, especially from Maddie Bonvino. We've seen a couple of great snags on her behalf at second base, and even everywhere else on the field, the defense has just been spectacular. So Milford, you combine that offense with the expected offense, I have a feeling it's going to pick up tonight. You don't see 4 hits out of Milford too often. Combine that with the pitching and the defense, Milford is primed to win their 3rd state championship in school history tonight.
If they are to see a high offensive output tonight, it will be against a very talented starter on the other side in Olivia Strasser. She has thrown 128 innings to this point on the season, a 19-1 record. She's allowed a total of 68 hits, 22 runs, just 15 of those earned. She has 146 strikeouts on 2017 and a .82 ERA for the year. So a lot of pitching talent on the other side as well. And as you can no doubt see, the starting lineups have begun to be introduced at field level, so we will bring you those starting lineups as well. And we will start with the visiting starting lineup. Wachusett, the visitors for the state championship. Milford, once again, is the home team. They have been the home team in 4 out of their 5 playoff games. So first for the Wachusett Lady Mountaineers, leading it off is their right fielder, Jordan Larea. Batting second and playing third base is Cammie Sperling, with Olivia Strasser, the starting pitcher, in the number 3 spot. Bridget Griffin plays first base and bats cleanup, with Courtney Landford, the center fielder, batting 5th. Lizzie Miles is the catcher, batting 6th, with Kiana Lloyd, the shortstop, batting 7th. Abby Symes is the designated player, batting 8th, and batting 9th, playing second base, is Paige Arvidsson. Flexed out of the lineup, only playing defensively, is the left fielder, Hallie Martin. And for Milford, their starting lineup is the identical starting lineup they have featured in every one of their playoff games so far in 2017. Leading off is their center fielder, Kate Irwin. Emily Pierre-Gustavo, the shortstop, bats second. Maggie Farrell bats third and plays center field, with Jess Tomaso, the first baseman, in the cleanup spot. Caitlin DeCapua bats 5th and plays third base, with the catcher Emily Hartman batting 6th. Kelly Reichert is the designated player, batting 7th, with Maddie Bonvino, the second baseman, batting 8th. And in the 9th spot, playing right field, is Shannon Cormier. And the pitching matchup, of course, Allie Atherton and Olivia Strasser, the 2 aces for each side, will be featured in the circle. The head coach for the Milford Scarlet Hawks, of course, the 4-year head coach, Steve DeVito, now coaching his first state championship game. And on the other side, the longtime head coach of the Wachusett Lady Mountaineers is Joe Cataldo. And so now you can see the introductions beginning on the Milford side. And Anthony, happy to see, as you look around Rockwood Park here, plenty of red-clad fans. Looks like the bulk of the Milford fans just outside of the third base dugout, where Milford will be situated during the game today, and you can see plenty of red encircling the outfield. So the Milford fans traveling well to support this team in the state championship. They have really been a huge source of pride for this community throughout the playoff run.
Well, athletic director Peter Boucher wanted a red out, and he certainly got it all over the field. Well, I should say on the outskirts of the field. They're not actually on the field. That would be a little bit different, but on the outskirts of the field, you can see red everywhere. A lot of green as well for the Wachusett Lady Mountaineers, but you know, Milford softball these last 10 years has just been, as you said, just a great source of optimism and pride for the Milford community. And you can see why. 3 state championships over the last couple of years, 2012, 2013. Well, we're hoping for a 3rd state championship. Just getting to this point is an accomplishment all in itself. You look at the Hockomock League, especially Taunton and King Philip, the reigning state champion. So Milford softball has just been, you know, arguably the best sport for Milford over the past 5 or 6 years, and it's just great to see the optimism and the support that this team gets. So Milford has all the support in the world. They just got to go out and execute today.
And when you talk about the support amongst the community, a lot of these fans go way back with this team, and prior to their time in the Hockomock League, Milford was a fellow member of the Mid-Wach A League, which is where Wachusett operates out of. So these two teams have some history between one another. They were longtime division rivals, and Milford last playing in the Mid-Wach A League in 2012. We had a chance to look back all the way to 2007, the last 6 years of matchups, and Milford swept all 12 of those games. We'll see if that's a precursor here tonight. In the meantime, it is time for the national anthem. We will step away and have the first pitch for you next in the state championship game on Milford TV. And welcome right back inside Rockwood Park. It is time for state championship softball to get underway. The Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks now taking the field, and Allie Atherton will commence with her warm-up pitches. And for these 3 seniors, the final game of their high school careers. And Anthony, obviously you played a great deal of high school athletics in your career, and having the opportunity here to play in the final game of the spring sports season, it's got to be a little bit of a battle of the emotions, especially here in the early part of the game, to try to let all of those things filter away and just focus in on the task at hand.
I did play in some playoff games, however, I never made it this far. I always wish I did. It's an experience. Like I said, you get to come to a beautiful field like we have here at Rockland Park. I would expect to see maybe some rust on either side as the emotions start to make their way out, and the nerves and whatnot. I maybe might see an error on the defensive end, or a strike go right by the number 3 hitter, something like that. I don't know. It's hard to predict, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of nerves taking over this game. But it's an experience. You look forward to coming here. All the hard work that goes into this. You never expect to make it to this point. You always hope to make it to this point, but you never expect to. You have to keep yourself humble and whatnot. So for these two teams, both phenomenal seasons. One team is going to have to go home a loser, but neither team should be embarrassed by that, because both of these teams have put in the hard work, and they've both had very successful seasons. So we're hoping that we're going to see a good game tonight. I expect that we will, and it's either going to be Milford or Wachusett crown the Division I state champion, and we're going to see a good one.
And you almost think about all that goes into this weekend and all that goes into this day. For these players, this might be a little bit of relief to finally get to the task at hand of just playing softball, between the Breakfast of Champions that takes place on this weekend, all of the attention you get coming to a college campus, a little bit of the circus that it is getting ready to play this game amidst all of the conditions here. Of course, there's been state championship games going on throughout the day, and finally, it is now just time to focus in on the thing that these two teams do best, and that is to play softball. And it is time for the state championship game to begin. The warm-up tosses have concluded, and the leadoff batter for the Lady Mountaineers is about to step in on the left side. That is their right fielder, Jordan Larea, as we once again bring you playoff coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics on Milford TV. Tim Coet and Anthony Mazzini on the call, our terrific Milford TV crew here on hand. And Allie Atherton ready to fire her first pitch in of the game, and it misses away for ball 1.
The other reason you might expect a little bit of rust is neither of these teams have played since Tuesday. So a little bit of a long layoff combined with the nerves, you never know, might be a little bit of rust on each side.
The 1-0 pitch now on the way, and it's hit past the pitcher's circle, backed up by Bonvino, a bit of a double clutch, but she's able to get the throw to first base in time to record the first out of the top of the first inning.
And that's what I mean. Maddie Bonvino still making that play, but wanted to make sure she had the right grip on that ball. Didn't want to make an error, but she handled it very well. That's always the best feeling, getting that first the first out of the way, keeping that first runner off the base paths. That's a good feeling, and Milford should start to settle in from here.
And now Cammie Sperling settles in on the right side, and she takes the first pitch inside for a ball. Cammie Sperling has been one of the big reasons that Wachusett has gotten to this point all the way back in the quarterfinals. Sperling with a 4-hit performance, 2 RBIs. She batted .478 through the regular season, and now hits one again towards second base. Bonvino tested again, a smooth play to collect out number 2.
And Bonvino has just been lights out at second base. I mentioned it a little bit in the open. I kind of highlighted her a little bit, but she has certainly deserved it. This entire Milford defense has been phenomenal, but Maddie Bonvino has just been putting them away, hasn't really let anything by her, anything within her reach she has gotten to. Just phenomenal defense from the Milford second baseman.
You think back to that leaping catch she made as part of the victory in the D1 South Championship game. She's been making those plays all season long. Now first pitch swinging, this one hit on the ground to shortstop. Pierre Gustavo to first, Olivia Strasser retired, and a very quick 1-2-3 top of the first inning. Allie Atherton sets the tone in this state championship game, and now the Lady Scarlet Hawks bats will take their first swings of the game when we come back next on this playoff coverage of Milford High School softball on Milford TV. Liv Strasser making the third out in the top of the first inning, and now out in the circle, ready to face these top 3 hitters in the Milford batting order: Kate Irwin, Emily Pierre Gustavo, and Maggie Farrell. Milford, the number 2 seed in the Division I South bracket, earning the district title. Wachusett was the 1 seed in the Division I Central bracket. Facing off in the state title game as Kate Irwin takes a look at the first pitch, and that is high for ball 1. Settles back in, now takes that pitch on the outside part of the plate for a called strike. And Anthony, you had the chance to get the call of the state semifinal game, and Kate Irwin really one of the star performers in that one.
Yeah, she was one of few Milford players that was actually successful at getting on base. As I mentioned, only 4 hits. She can't find her way on this time as she pops out to the third baseman. But Kate Irwin coming through with a big hit, driving in an RBI in that game. She's not really known for her top of the order production, but when she gets the opportunity, she takes advantage. She also played stellar defense in center field, making a phenomenal catch to keep some Lady Tigers off the base paths.
So after the pop-up on the bunt attempt from Irwin, the catch made at third by Sperling. Now it's Emily Pierre-Gustavo who looks at strike one. And now swings away, sends a looping line drive over the glove of Paige Arvidsson at second base, and Emily Pierre-Gustavo is on at first. She grabs the first base hit of this championship game.
And that's big for Emily Pierre-Gustavo. Hitless in her last couple of games. And she's one of the better hitters for this Milford team, if not the best hitter. The Hockomock League MVP, the leader in the Hockomock for batting average during the regular season. Not like her to go hitless for 2 straight games, and she pulls through in her first at bat this time.
Now here's Maggie Farrell. She takes a look at a called strike on the outside part of the plate. Maggie's been one of the most productive hitters in this Lady Hawks lineup. 8 hits in total in the playoffs with 11 runs batted in. 4 of those came on one swing back in the quarterfinal round of the Division I South bracket against Norwood.
Nobody else is even close to those RBI totals. The next highest is 5 from Jess Tomaso. So talk about a quality middle of the order bat.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, and this is sent in the air out to shallow left field, and that touches down for a base hit. So Maggie Farrell goes opposite field, dumps it out in front of Haley Martin. And now 2 on with 1 out for the Lady Scarlet Hawks, back-to-back hits. And now the cleanup hitter striding to the plate, Jess Tomaso. And this is a bat to watch out for in this game, Anthony. Like Emily Pierre-Gustavo, Jess has been held a little bit more in check in the last few playoff games after really leading the way offensively to open the playoffs. And she's another bat you can only hold down for so long. She swings at the first pitch and fouls it far out of play off to the right.
And that was a mighty hack. As you mentioned, Tim, by her standards, she's been kind of quiet. She did go 1 for 3 in the game against Newton North in the state semifinals. She did drive in a run. She has a perfect opportunity with 2 runners on now to maybe put Milford on the board first. But this is a dangerous hitter. It's not like these dangerous hitters for Milford that have been so quiet to stay this quiet.
This ball swung on, and it's again fouled out of play off to the right. Near the concession stand area, all of the amenities you could possibly want at this softball complex here at Rockwood Park. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count now on Jess Tomaso with a pair of runners on. The next pitch on the way, and this is sent high in the air, again foul. Tomaso sending them a long way, but off the field of play. And one thing that Coach DeVito mentioned after one of the recent playoff victories is just how important it is to get those early runs. I believe it was something he said to you, Anthony, after the state semifinal game, giving the team the opportunity to take that deep breath, to settle into their game. Whoever can really settle in first really has the major advantage, and Milford with a great opportunity to do that here with Emily Pierre-Gustavo at second base, Maggie Farrell at first, just 1 out in the inning. And now a 1-2 pitch, and it's swung on and foul-tipped into the mitt of the catcher for strike 3.
And Jess Tomaso is very disappointed. She got a pretty decent pitch to hit. Looked like a fastball that was a little bit elevated right in her wheelhouse, although pretty good placement on the outside part of the plate. Tomaso foul-tipped it into the mitt.
And so now with 2 down, it leaves the inning up to Caitlin DeCapua, and the captain carves one foul off to the right.
Milford seems to be a little bit behind Strasser's fastball. She's really pumping it in there.
The runners perched at first and second. Here's the 0-1, and that's too far inside.
These Milford hitters should follow suit of Pierre-Gustavo and Farrell, both going to the opposite field. Stay back a little longer and just shoot it middle away.
And now this one floated into the glove of Strasser. She's able to haul it in for out number 3. Milford able to get a couple of runners on with only 1 out, but they cannot produce a run. And the first inning of this state championship game is complete. It is scoreless between Milford and Wachusett on this coverage of Milford High School softball in the state championship game on Milford TV. Into the top of the second inning now. It will be batters 4, 5, and 6 due up for Wachusett against Allie Atherton. And Bridget Griffin will lead it off. Griffin batted .354 on the season and playoffs combined. She is also the leader in runs batted in for Wachusett with 26. Digs in on the right side against Atherton, who had a lightning quick top of the first, inducing 3 ground ball outs on the infield. And issues ball 1, a pitch that just barely misses off the outside part of the plate. Griffin followed by Courtney Lanfer and Lizzie Miles in the frame. Here's the 1-0, and this is hit hard over the glove of the third baseman DeCapua. And the cheers rise up from the Wachusett fans as Griffin leads off the inning with a leadoff base hit.
DeCapua really had no shot at that ball, hit very sharply on the ground by Griffin. DeCapua with a little half dive move at third base, but she really had no shot, just let that one go right by. And a leadoff base hit for the Lady Mountaineers.
So Griffin at first, and now Courtney Lanford digs in on the right side. And the pitch from Atherton is hit hard but foul right over to the third base coach's area, where head coach Joe Cataldo tosses the ball back on the field of play.
A lot of hitters on both sides being aggressive early in the count, a lot of first pitch swings. That's the best way to try to get on base. A lot of times that first pitch is a mistake just to get me over fastball.
Now the 0-1, it's bunted right into the left side batter's box. The ball bounces in front of first base. It gets away from Tommaso, and the runners advance. Now 2 in scoring position for the Lady Mountaineers. That ball sent just to the corner of the left side batter's box, and the throw was short hop to first base. Everyone's safe, and now a prime scoring chance for Wachusett.
Tim, that one may have hit the runner Lanfer on the way as well, causing that one to one hop and get by Tommaso. But if she was in her running path down the first base line, she's not held responsible, and it's not an automatic out. So I think that one did deflect off Lanfer running down the line, then one hopped to Tommaso, almost like a play in hockey where you're in front of the net and you try to change direction on the puck. That's exactly what happened. Tommaso had her glove in one spot and the ball went the other way. And Wachusett now threatening. 2 runners on in scoring position with no outs.
So there is the first miscue of the game. The throwing error allows 2 runners to move into scoring position. And now a big at bat for Lizzie Miles, the catcher, with nobody out. She takes a big swing and fouls it off at the plate. Milford getting 2 runners on in their half of the first inning, but could not produce a run, and now Wachusett threatening big time here with 2 runners in scoring position. Here's the 0-1, and it's sent softly to the right side, through for a base hit. 1 run in, now a second right behind. Here's the throw to the plate. It's not in time, and now down to second base goes Lizzie Miles, a 2-run single, and Wachusett deals the first blow. They take a 2-0 lead.
And that ball from Cormier in right field needs to be cut off by just Tommaso, whether that's a miscommunication with Hartman behind the plate or Tommaso just let that one go by on her own. Not only does 2 runs score on the play, those 2 runs were going to score easily, but now you have another runner in scoring position at second base with still nobody out. You got to keep that runner on first base at all costs, and with that ball going through, the runner is allowed to advance.
It's surprising to not see a coach's visit here at this point after 3 straight hits in the inning, 2 runs home. Wachusett threatening for a big inning here, but Coach DeVito electing to let his players figure things out for themselves, as Atherton will now face the number 7 batter, Kiana Lloyd. And now this ball is sent out to left center field for a hit. They'll wave the runner around from third base. Here comes the throw on a couple of bounces into Hartman, and it's in time to cut down the runner at the plate. A good, strong throw in from the outfield. It did take a couple of bounces in the end to get to Hartman, but she was able to quickly slap the tag down, and they're able to get Lizzie Miles at home, and it will stay a 2-0 lead.
And that's a much better let go on the cutoff attempt that time. There was a much better shot at the plate. Hartman telling the cutoff of Caitlin DeCapua to let that ball go through, and they ultimately get the runner out at the plate. So that one was much better, much more effectively executed, I should say, than the first one, and they get the out as a result.
And now ball 1 issued to Abby Symes. So it's been 4 straight hits in the inning, but Milford able to collect a crucial out at home. Lloyd credited with the single. She moves to second on the throw, so yet another Wachusett runner in scoring position as this ball is popped up foul, and it drifts over the first base dugout out of play. Action really happening rapidly here after Allie Atherton dominated the first inning with a very quick 1-2-3 frame. She has not been fooling these Wachusett batters in the second. A lot of hard contact.
And it's interesting to note, a lot of the production has come from the bottom half of the order. Obviously, Griffin, the number 4 hitter, led off the inning. But then you see the 7-hitter Miles and then the 6-hitter Miles and then the 7-hitter Lloyd, both coming through with base hits.
And now a swing and a miss. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Just goes to show the depth of this lineup for Wachusett. 1 through 9, they have players that can get the job done. Milford does too, but Wachusett is putting it on full display right now.
With Lloyd at second base, the next pitch away. Atherton trying to get the batter to chase. And now an even count of 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Wachusett fans really making their presence felt as part of this rally. Many of them set up just off to the right of our broadcast setup. Here's a 2-2 pitch now, and this is sent in the air over to first base in foul ground. Tomaso's able to make the catch, and that brings the second out of the inning. Lloyd has to hold up at second base.
Good pitch by Atherton, keeping it away from Symes. Doing a great job. Might have been a little bit of an off-speed pitch, had Symes out in front. Right off the end of the bat, Tomaso has no problem making the catch at first base, and a big second out with a runner in scoring position. And luckily for Milford, Wachusett has the number 9 hitter up.
That hitter is Paige Arvidsson, playing second base. Allie Atherton hoping to minimize the damage and gets a swinging strike 1 to open the at-bat.
Looks like Wachusett is trying to avenge their losses against Milford. Those dated from 2007 to 2012 as far as we could go back.
Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's fouled to the backstop.
Tim, you alluded to it earlier. 12-0 for Milford during the regular season from 2007 to 2012, back when Milford was in the Midland Wachusett A division. And they also matched up in the 2012 quarterfinals, and Milford took that game as well. So 13-0 over a large span for the Lady Hawks over the Lady Mountaineers.
An 0-2 pitch now from Atherton, and no chase out of the bat of Paige Arvidsson. The count goes to 1-2. The number 9 hitter at the plate. Kiana Lloyd remains at second base with 2 down. We've seen a 4-hit, 2-run inning so far out of Wachusett. Can Atherton end it here? Here is the 1-2 pitch, and just getting a piece was Arvidsson. She fouls it off to the backstop. A very loud atmosphere in the top of the second. Atherton trying to tune it out as she takes a brief stroll to the edge of the pitcher circle. And she is ready to go now. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the inning. Here's the pitch, and that is low. Allowing 2 runs in the second inning after pitching complete game shutouts in her last 2 playoff performances. Here now is the 2-2, and off the end of the bat, this one is flicked foul, again off into the crowd.
The number 9 hitter Arvidsson doing a great job of driving up the pitch count of Atherton, at least making her work anyway. Whether or not this results in getting on base for the second baseman from Wachusett, still a good at bat nonetheless, making Atherton work, not letting her get out of this inning easily.
Now the 2-2 pitch, and it bounces and ricochets away from Hartman, and that will allow the runner to move up to third. Kiana Lloyd now at third base with the count going full.
Good read that time by Lloyd. It didn't get very far away from Hartman, but once that ball was in the dirt, Lloyd took off knowing she had a good shot to get to third base, and why not give it a shot with 2 outs, even if she is thrown out. Of course, it is the cardinal sin. Don't get thrown out at third base with 2 outs. But might as well give it a shot. You've already got 2 in this inning. Keep putting the pressure on Milford.
So now a full count on the batter. Here is the payoff pitch, and it's sent to third base. A diving play by DeCapua. She gets to her feet. Can she get the throw to first in time? She cannot. And in the back door from third base comes Lloyd with the third Wachusett run of the inning. Both corner infielders doing everything they could on that play. DeCapua with the dive to keep the ball on the infield, and then getting to her feet, throwing to first, and a near split for Tomaso at first. But too much speed for Arvidsson down the line. She's able to beat it out. And the pass ball key in the inning, it allows Wachusett to score a third run, and now they turn the lineup over.
DeCapua not getting a good grip on that ball after the dive. A great stop originally, but with good speed down the line for Arvidsson, not being able to get it across the diamond in time to Tomaso. And the number 9 hitter for Wachusett coming through, giving another one on the scoreboard for the Lady Mountaineers.
So more high leverage pitches for Allie Atherton. Facing her 7th batter of the second inning. Here's the 0-1 and a bunt attempt out of Jordan Larea.
And we talked about how this is unfamiliar territory for Wachusett, coming in never playing in a state tournament, obviously in the sectional tournament, but not the semifinals or the final game. Now this is unfamiliar territory for Milford. Wachusett jumping out in front. Milford's not used to playing from behind.
And now a chopper hit towards second base. Bonvino has it, shuffles the throw to first base to get the out that finally ends the inning, but not before Wachusett puts 3 big runs on the scoreboard. Lizzie Miles with the big blow in the inning, a 2-run single, and it is a 3-0 Wachusett lead heading to the bottom of the second inning next here on Milford TV. Milford has not trailed by more than a single run in this entire playoff tournament. They now trail the state championship game by a score of 3-0 as Emily Hartman will lead off the bottom half of the second inning. And she is hit by the pitch. The very first pitch from Liv Strasser in the inning gets Hartman on the elbow, and it gives Milford a leadoff base runner. And the Lady Hawks will take anything they can get to try to shift the momentum in this game. And quickly now we see a courtesy runner for the catcher Hartman as Antonia Bonina will take over at first.
And I'm sure Hartman will take anything she can get as well. Only 3 for 16 over the course of these playoffs. That does include a home run and 4 RBIs, but she's also been scuffling at the plate, hitless in her last couple games as well. So a lot of times for a hitter, that's all it takes, just being able to get back down to first base again. You know, she didn't get a hit, she got hit, but, you know, not getting the bat on the ball, but a lot of times that's all it takes just to get your confidence up. So let's keep an eye on her at bats.
Kelly Reichert now stands in, hits one slowly on the ground towards shortstop. A long throw across the infield, and it does not get there in time. Kelly Reichert able to beat it out for an infield single, sending that one slowly to Kiana Lloyd at short. And the first 2 batters have reached for the Lady Scarlet Hawks, and quickly they bring the tying run to the dish.
And a quick turnaround for this Milford team. Obviously haven't put any on the board yet, but they're in prime position to do so. Reichert not the fastest runner going down the first base line, but it was hitting a good spot. And Kiana Lloyd, the shortstop, once it got by the third baseman Sperling, there was really no shot to throw Reichert out at first.
And now Bonvino taking a look at a called strike one. Milford now does have 3 hits off of Strasser through the first inning plus. Collecting 2 hits in the first inning, but failing to score. Now their first 2 batters have reached here in the second. The 0-1 to Bonvino is upstairs.
Bonvino has driven in 2 over the course of the playoffs. 6 for 13 is Bonvino with a double. Over the course of the entire season, she's driven in 12.
And a batting average for the year just a shade under 400 at 397. And takes a pitch low and inside, and she will jump ahead in the count now, 2-1.
That one could have been called a strike, borderline pitch. I think if the catcher Miles had caught it a little bit differently, she kind of backhanded it. If she caught it a little bit better, it might have been called a strike.
And now that one even further inside, and Bonvino now in the driver's seat in the at-bat, 3 balls and 1 strike, and Strasser is 1 pitch away from putting the tying runs on with nobody out. Here's the 3-1, and Bonvino swings away at it, sends it out to left field, and room for Hallie Martin to make the catch. And so Bonvino aggressive there with the 3-1 count and ends up flying out for the first out of the inning.
I think Bonvino just missed that one, got under it a little bit, and it was a lazy fly ball out to left field. Left fielder Martin had no trouble putting that one away, and that's a big out for Strasser.
And so now with one down, it's Cormier at the plate. She takes a look at a called strike one. Shannon with 4 hits and 12 at-bats in the playoffs. She's been sneaky important to this offense, finding a way to get on in a lot of situations to turn the lineup over.
However, she was one of 5 Milford players who wasn't able to collect a hit in the last game against Newton North, so she's looking to turn the tide a little bit in this game.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's high. Kate Irwin and the leadoff spot in the Milford order waits on deck. Here's the 2-1 offering, and that hits for a called strike 2. Cormier overall through the regular season, just like Maddie Bonvino, a .397 average. Here she swings away, a late cut, and fouls it off the side of the backstop. Ricochets off towards the third baseman.
No extra base hits or RBIs for Cormier in these playoffs. However, she did have 17 RBIs during the regular season.
Here's the 2-2 and another foul ball. So now it is the Milford number 9 hitter making the Wachusett starter work. Stays a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Bonina at second, Reichert at first. Here's the pitch, and it's bounced over towards third. It's bobbled in and out of the hand of Sperling, and she has no play anywhere. And that'll be an error charged to Cammie Sperling at third base, and they are loaded up now for Kate Irwin.
I think Sperling was kind of caught between 2 decisions. Number 1 was whether she would be able to tag the runner Bonina between second and third. The ball was taking her that way. And then option number 2 was fielding the ball cleanly and throwing it over to first base to get Cormier. If she fields it cleanly, I think she has Cormier at first base. But that little indecision as she tried to field the ball probably took her eye off it for a split second, and that's all it took. And now Milford has the bases loaded with only 1 out, and Kate Irwin, who's been on fire the last couple of games, had a hit in the last game against Newton North, including an RBI, so let's see if she can pull through again here.
Just so important in each of these situations within this championship game to stay within yourself, to do the things that have made you successful throughout the year. And maybe a situation there defensively where Cammie Sperling was thinking a little bit too far ahead instead of securing the ball in her glove. And the result, the first error of the game for Wachusett, and it leads to a bases loaded chance for Milford. And Kate Irwin, who did have a bases loaded hit in Milford's sectional championship game against Silver Lake. She swings away at the first pitch here and fouls it off the backstop.
And this is a little bit unusual for Irwin to be in this spot. A slap hit, which she usually does, won't get the job done in this situation. That's just an easy out to cut down the runner at home, so she kind of has to swing for the fences.
Now she hits it slowly back up the middle. The throw to first base is not going to be close as Bonina comes in from third base. So the slap hit does pay off for Kate Irwin. She hits it slow enough to second base that all the runners are safe, and Milford is on the scoreboard. They cut the deficit now to 3-1.
Kate Irwin making me look bad on that one. She got jammed. Wasn't necessarily trying to send that one to the opposite field just to get any sort of metal on it that she could, and doing a great job. Luckily, it got past the pitcher. And once that happened, you had a feeling that Irwin, with her speed, was going to be safe at first. A runner scored easily. Milford's right back in this ball game.
And now here is Emily Pierre-Gustavo. She swings at the first pitch and fouls it away over the bleachers for strike 1. So now Milford, with the bases reloaded, still just 1 out in the inning, and they've got some heavy bats coming to the plate. And again, starting off with the Hockomock League MVP, Emily Pierre-Gustavo, looking to break out of a mini funk in these playoffs.
And what a spot it would be to break out of her slump. She did single in her last at-bat back in the first inning, but this would be a big spot for her to really get hot, find an alley, score at least 2.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, and this is hit high in the air out to center field. It sends Landfer back. She settles underneath to make the catch. Tagging at third base is Reichert. She will score, and credit Emily Pierre-Gustavo with a sacrifice fly. And it's now down to a 1-run lead for Wachusett. Now a 3-2 score.
And that's all it takes. Pierre-Gustavo getting enough, flying it out to Landfer in center field, but deep enough to allow Reichert to come home and score. Milford's back within 1. and still has runners on the corners, and we're still in the meat of their order. Maggie Farrell coming up now, who leads this team with 11 RBIs during the postseason.
And we've said it each and every game, but it always bears repeating. Maggie Farrell just absolutely lethal in these crucial situations. As now we'll see the home plate umpire. He's going to call a conference now amongst the full umpiring crew. A 3-man officiating crew here for this state championship game, and unclear here what they're about to talk about. And everyone now returns to their positions with really nothing changing, so really not sure what the home plate umpire saw there, but just wanted to make sure he was on the same page with his two colleagues out in the field. Everything seems to be squared away now. And so once again, the clutchest of Milford hitters, Maggie Farrell, digs in on the left side. And the first pitch from Strasser is low for ball 1.
Yeah, no signal given on what the umpires were conferring about that time, and no coach's challenge. You didn't see anyone argue, so not sure what's going on, but Maggie Farrell just giving herself a little bit of extra time to think about the situation.
Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that misses away. And Farrell finds herself ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Maggie Farrell overall for 2017, a .485 average, a total of 28 runs batted in, and now sends this ball in the air out behind second base. And the catch is made there. Kiana Lloyd, the shortstop, able to settle underneath to make the play, so Farrell can't come through in that situation. But a productive inning for Milford as they're able to come back after that rough top of the top of the second inning with 2 runs of their own. So now a 3-2 score. Wachusett still in front. And now we will head to inning number 3 in the state championship game, Milford versus Wachusett, here on Milford TV. It is a 3-2 score now in this Division I state championship game. Wachusett with 3 runs in the top half of the second inning. Milford able to answer with a pair. And now Atherton heads back out to the circle, and really a crucial inning here, Anthony, for Allie Atherton. Her offense getting the team right back into the game and now looking to make those adjustments to hold Wachusett in check.
We talked about it in the last game, well, actually 2 games ago against Silver Lake, when you and I were both on the broadcast. That inning right after your team spots you a couple runs is the most important. You want to go out there and shut down the other team, keep the momentum on your side, and especially for Allie Atherton right now, you don't want this 1-run deficit to grow any larger.
And now the first pitch quickly sent to first base and hauled in by Jess Tomaso. So just like that, Milford able to complete out number 1.
1 pitch, 1 out. And if the first inning is any indication, when Atherton got the first out, she could be in for a good inning this time. In the second inning, when Wachusett came for 3 runs, she allowed the first couple of runners to get on, so that's the big difference right now.
And now this ball is chopped to third base. It's fielded by DeCapua, and a quick throw to first base, and just 2 pitches, and Atherton has collected the first 2 outs of this inning.
Guess Atherton knows the rule. After your team gets you a couple runs, you got to go out there and deliver and do your part. So far, as you said, 2 pitches, 2 outs, and especially against the meat of the order, 2, 3, 4, although Griffin got her last time for a single in the second inning.
Bridget Griffin touching off that 3-run rally last inning with a single, came around to score on the 2-run single by Lizzie Miles. Takes the first pitch for a strike. Now the 0-1, and that misses low and away. In terms of weather conditions, a little bit more comfortable here in Worcester today than what Milford experienced in their state semifinal game in those hot, humid conditions down at Jack Tripp Field in Taunton. As now this ball is floated out on the infield, and the catch made by DeCapua, and a much better inning for Atherton. She's able to bounce back to cut down Wachusett 1-2-3, needing only 4 pitches to do so. So a very efficient inning for Atherton. And we'll head right on to the bottom half of the third inning, where it is still a 3-2 Mountaineers lead on coverage of the Division I state championship game on Milford TV. 3 runs on 5 hits with 1 error for Wachusett, 2 runs on 4 hits with an error for Milford. quickly into the bottom of the third inning. And Strasser deals in a first pitch strike to Jess Tomaso. Jess struck out with a pair of runners on and one down in the first inning, now leads it off in the third. And now an even count of a ball and a strike through the regular season. Tomaso once again with sensational numbers, a .505 batting average regular season and playoffs combined. She leads the team overall with runs batted in with an even 40 now. And ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike as the sun starts to set off in the distance. The lights on here at Rockwood Park.
5 of those 40 RBIs have come during the playoffs.
And the 2-1 pitch sent foul, just grabs a piece of the side of the backstop. High chain link fence surrounding the home plate area. Fencing all the way around the field.
Also kind of funny for Jess Tomaso. 3 stolen bases on the season. 2 of them have come during the playoffs, so she gets on base, she's kind of been a threat to steal.
Takes a pitch up and away, and now the count is full. Strasser staring in, now ready. And this ball is fisted out into shallow left field, and that drops in over the reach of Kiana Lloyd, who drifted out onto the left field grass. But Tomaso aboard with a leadoff base hit, the second straight inning that Milford has had the leadoff runner on.
Well, it's not the solid contact I'm sure Tomaso was hoping for on a 3-1 count, but it doesn't matter as long as it hits green, and that's exactly what it did. Tomaso finding a little bit of space between the left fielder Martin and the shortstop Lloyd. Milford has the leadoff runner on again.
And now here's Caitlin DeCapua. She sends one on the ground to shortstop. It could be 2. They tap second base for the out there, but the throw to first pulls Bridget Griffin off the bag, and a lucky break for Milford as we nearly saw the double play executed by Wachusett.
I think Lloyd would have been a little bit better off if she flipped to Arvidsson. Then again, Arvidsson was a little bit late covering the second base bag. Arvidsson would have been set up to make a little bit of a better throw. Probably still would have been able to turn 2. Instead, with Lloyd taking it herself, wasn't on balance, threw it away. So DeCapua was safe at first.
Safe on the fielder's choice, and now the first pitch into Emily Hartman misses inside. This is already a much higher score in the state championship than Milford fans are accustomed to in their back-to-back state championship wins in 2012 and 2013. They managed just 1-0 victories, one of those games going into extra innings. A 1-ball, 1-strike count now on Emily Hartman. Here's the pitch, and this is sent softly in the air to shortstop. And Kiana Lloyd, who's been busy in this inning, able to make the catch. DeCapua dives back into first with now 2 down.
DeCapua dove hard back into first base. Looks like her cleat got stuck in the dirt around first base. She looks to be okay, maybe holding that left arm a little bit limp, but she's tough. She'll stay in the game, especially in a state championship game. If you're a player, you're not taking yourself out for anything.
Now the inning left up to Kelly Reichert. A promising start to this frame with the leadoff single for Tomaso. But a fielder's choice play bounced into by DeCapua, and then the line out from Emily Hartman, and suddenly it's a runner at first with 2 outs. And a called strike on the inner half of the plate on Reichert. She was jackknifing out of the way, but that ball ruled strike 1. Strasser winds and fires and gets one past the swing of Reichert. A big swing from Kelly, but she couldn't catch up to that elevated fastball from Liv Strasser, who's now 1 strike away from ending this third inning. She is ready. Here's the pitch. And this time Reichert makes contact. She fouls it away.
Strasser with 8 strikeouts in the win over Minichog in the state semifinal just back on Tuesday. Looking for her 2nd strikeout of this game.
Here comes the pitch, and in on the hands, she's able to spray it foul off the backstop, and we'll have another chance. Reichert stares off towards the left field side, now digs back into the batter's box. Here's the 1-2, and she puts this one in the air, and it just drifts off the field of play, takes a hard ricochet off the first base dugout roof, comes back in towards the fans over here on the first base side. Everyone managed to avoid the worst of that contact. And it stays a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Coach DeVito comes in a few steps from the third base coach's area with some words of encouragement for Kelly Reichert. Kelly was a vital component in this offense during the regular season with 18 runs batted in. And now hits this one hard. A diving play at third for Sperling. Gets to her feet and throws to first in time to get the out. A bit of a high throw, but Bridget Griffin able to pull it down, stay on the bag, and that is the final out in the bottom of the third inning. So the leadoff base hit goes by the boards for Milford, and that sends us on to the fourth inning in this state championship game. It remains a 3-2 lead for Wachusett on this coverage of Milford High School Athletics on Milford TV. The good news in this game for Allie Atherton, she's pitched 2 extremely quick and efficient 1-2-3 innings. The bad news in between, a rough inning where she allowed 3 runs on 5 hits, and that's the difference in this game right now. Wachusett leading Milford 3-2 as we enter the fourth inning. The hit column is now even at 5 apiece, but Wachusett with the 1-run advantage. And the Lady Mountaineers will send batters 5, 6, and 7 to the plate against Atherton in the top half of the fourth. Courtney Lanfer, Lizzie Miles, and Kiana Lloyd, all 3 came away with base hits against Atherton in that 3-run second inning rally.
Yeah, the wrong half of the batting order for Atherton to allow the runs to, but as I said earlier, the depth for each team up and down the lineup has just been so crucial to their success this season. And Wachusett made Atherton pay back in that second inning, especially Miles, who's on deck.
Meanwhile, the first pitch missing high for ball 1. The next pitch, this is driven in the air out to right field. Cormier looks to have it sized up, and she settles it into the glove. And Lanfer retired to open the fourth.
A rather spacious outfield here at Rockland Park. Cormier had plenty of room out in right field. Looked pretty good off the bat of Lanfer, but didn't carry well. Cormier makes the first out of the inning.
And so with 1 down now, we will see Lizzie Miles, who, as we mentioned, has the biggest hit so far in this state championship game. A 2-run single that put the first runs on the scoreboard. And again, Atherton starts out behind with a first pitch ball. Now the 1-0 pitch, and that narrowly misses the outside part of the plate. 2-0 the count with 1 down and the base is empty. The next pitch on the way, and it's hit past the glove of Atherton, backed up by Bonvino, but a throw looped to first base in and out of the glove of Jess Tomaso. And that will allow Miles to reach. And with the throw, really no momentum for Maddie Bonvino as she was traveling towards the second base bag. The throw would not have beaten the runner anyway, and with no advance, I'm not sure they'll charge an error there. It might just go as a base hit.
And we do have a pinch runner at first base. Looks like number 18, Reagan Lowe.
So they'll put the courtesy runner on in place of the catcher. And now here is Kiana Lloyd, who singled and also scored a run in the second inning. Atherton's pitch is hit hard to the backstop for strike 1.
Tim, it's interesting to note that the Central bracket had a few less teams than the South bracket, so Wachusett has actually played 1 fewer games than Milford over the course of these playoffs. It only is a 1-game difference, but you have to imagine that maybe there could be a little bit of fatigue on the Milford side. It hasn't really affected them much to this point, but trailing 3-2, I mean, after a while, you just keep playing and playing and playing. That'll start to add up, but Wachusett is at least 1 game fresher than Milford is coming into tonight.
And with the smaller pool of teams in the Division I Central bracket, there was no preliminary round. It started with round 1 action. Wachusett, as the 1 seed, received a bye straight through to the quarterfinals. So 3 wins in their district bracket and then a win in the state semifinals.
That almost doesn't seem fair. I mean, obviously you can't control where teams are located, but what if it got to a 2 or 3 game difference? Then you're putting a real advantage to one team over the other.
Here's a 1-2 pitch now, and that just misses outside. Kiana Lloyd, the number 7 batter in this lineup for Wachusett, batted .315 coming into the game today. Getting a little uptick with the base hit in her first at bat. Here's the 2-2 pitch now, and it's hit hard to third base, snagged by DeCapua. She gets the out at second. The relay throw to first, not nearly in time to get the out there. Bonvino chancing the throw. Fortunately, it ended up in Tomaso's glove. But important for Milford to cut down the lead runner. Miles out at second base as Lloyd reaches on the fielder's choice. And it's now 2 outs with a runner at first base. And that leaves the inning up to Abby Symes, who lined out to Tomaso at first base in her first at bat. She swings at the first pitch again, tests DeCapua, and she sends a good throw across the diamond, a good strong throwing arm for Caitlin DeCapua, the senior captain, and that ends it in the top of the 4th. And so despite getting that 1-out base runner, nothing doing for Wachusett in their half of the 4th inning. On to the home half of the inning we go. It remains Wachusett 3 and Milford 2 in this coverage of the Division I state championship game here on Milford TV. Last season, it was the Hockomock League's King Philip who was able to claim a state championship with a win over Doherty Memorial High School. Milford hoping to be the 2nd consecutive team out of the Hawk to claim a D1 state championship. But if they're to make that happen, they need to play from behind, still trailing by a run as we are now into the middle innings, the bottom of the 4th about to get started. And Milford will send the 8, 9, and 1 spots to the plate, Maddie Bonvino, to lead it off. Maddie 0 for 1 in this state title game, flew out to left field in her first at bat. And Wachusett taking a little extra time here, and it looks like now there's some bookkeeping going on over along the first base line. One of the infield umpires over to talk to Coach Cataldo, and it looks like also Milford assistant coach Tim Walsh over there in the vicinity in on the conversation, not exactly sure. We've seen a lot of conversations on the field in the early part of this game.
And unfortunately, nobody tells us what they're talking about, so we can't really give you much information. So sorry, folks. If they give us any sort of signal, we'll let you know. But, Tim, while we have a moment, it's kind of interesting. This Wachusett team has been on the rise the last few seasons after missing the tournament play completely for a few seasons dating back to 2008. They've really been coming through and playing some better softball over the last couple of years. Of course, 2012, they lost to Milford in the quarterfinal round of the Central. That's when Milford was still playing as part of the Midland Wachusett A division. Then in 2013, they missed the tournament again, followed by 2014. They played in the quarterfinal round and lost to Holy Name. 2015, they made it to the semifinals but lost to Algonquin. And then 2016, they lost again to St. Peter Marion in the quarterfinal round. But this is a team that, has been kind of knocking on the door, progressively getting better and better. And as we mentioned, unfamiliar territory to them, never won a district title before, never even played in a state tournament. Now they're here, so this is a team that should be reckoned with for the next couple of years, especially. Only 5 seniors on this team. They'll return 10 players total, 5 juniors and 5 sophomores on this team. So this is a program that is on the rise, and Milford kind of did the same thing, scuffled and then came up. So these are 2 very similar teams in that respect.
And you look at those previous playoff runs, reading some of the press clippings leading up through the end of the regular season and into the playoffs. Coach Cataldo of Wachusett really didn't mince words when he talked about they went into the playoffs with the hopes of winning a district title and also with the hopes of exacting some revenge on Holy Name and St. Peter Marion, a couple of teams that had really thwarted them in the playoffs in the last few seasons. They ultimately didn't need to face St. Peter Marion. They bowed out early in the tournament. They were able to defeat Holy Name in their quarterfinal matchup, so they at least got a little bit of that revenge in en route to the state championship game.
Yeah, that would have been funny. St. Peter Marion losing to Shrewsbury in the quarterfinal round of the Central Division. So Wachusett played Shrewsbury in the semifinal round and won that game 4-3, but in the quarterfinals a 9-2 victory over Holy Name. But that would have been something if they played both of those teams. You have to wonder if, St. Peter Marion has Wachusett's number, if things would have been different if the two teams played. But looks like we're finally getting back to action.
So it looks like they did just pull a player off the field for Wachusett. And so now we're seeing a swap here.
If I heard correctly, Taylor Tornberg, number 7, is going in for Cammie Sperling. And that does look to be the case, as Tornberg is now playing third base in place of Sperling.
So that's an interesting development. Cammie Sperling, who was an integral part of this Wachusett offense, now taken off the field, and now we see Tornberg out there. That's Taylor Tornberg, not to be confused with Tyler Thornburg, the relief pitcher of the Boston Red Sox, who you will not see on the field at any point in 2017. But that's a story for another day. In the meantime, it looks like all of the positional adjustments have now been made, and we're finally set to resume softball. A couple of minutes worth of delay. And again, we'll be interested to find out after the game what the nature of that positional issue was.
Kind of a situation. How many adults do you need to figure out a one-position swap? It wasn't like there was multiple, one goes to left and the other one goes into third. It was one position.
As now this ball is a tapper to third base, so now Tornberg gets tested on her first attempt, and she's able to make a good throw to get the out to lead off the inning.
And Coach DeVito is basically telling the first base coach she's safe. And he repeated it multiple times, not going out to argue his case, but it did look like Bonvino did beat that throw to first base, and Coach DeVito was not happy about the call.
An infield umpire positioned right there at first base, close to the play. He saw it differently. And Bonvino now 0 for 2 in this state title game, and now a first pitch strike for Shannon Cormier. Now takes one outside.
And how about that, Tim? The ball always seems to find the new player entering the game. Tornberg tested early. It's almost like there's a magnet towards the defensive replacement anytime some player comes into the game.
And now that pitch up and away. So again, it will be interesting to see what happens when the number 2 spot comes up in the lineup for Wachusett. If Sperling is completely out of this game, that would be a big loss in that top part of the lineup, as again, Sperling is one of the more productive hitters in this Wachusett lineup.
I didn't notice any sort of injury. She didn't even come to bat in the last inning. Her last at bat came in the third.
As now the 3-1 pitch is swung on and missed by Cormier, so that fills the count. And Sperling had gone out onto the field to take the position, but then with that long delay as the umpires convened, now the 3-2 pitch floated foul. They'll give it a look, but that's out of play. But the decision right now is Sperling out and Tornberg in. And another payoff pitch on the way, and that's upstairs for ball 4. And Cormier works a 1-out walk. And that will once again bring the top of the Milford order to the plate. The third at bat for Kate Irwin, 1 for 2 in this state title game. Came to the plate with the bases loaded her last time and beat out an infield single to drive in Milford's first run. They play tight in at third for Irwin, who takes the first pitch for ball 1. Tornberg in tight over at third. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and this is a bunt. It's floated in the air, and the catch is made by the pitcher, Liv Strasser. So that's the second time today we've seen a bunt attempt for Irwin left up in the air. And the catch made by the pitcher for out number 2, leaving the inning in the hands of Emily Pierre-Gustavo, who has had a good day so far, a single in the first inning, and then drove in a run on a sacrifice fly in the second. And she takes the first pitch for ball 1. Emily Pierre-Gustavo does have a home run to her credit in these playoffs. And now hits this ball hard in the air, out to left center field, back towards the fence, and that stays in the yard. It's off the wall. They'll wave Cormier around from third base. There will be no throw to the plate as Emily Pierre-Gustavo comes through with a 2-out RBI double that ties the state championship game at 3.
And Tim, there was no doubt that that ball was going to find space between the two outfielders, Martin in left and Lanfer in center. The only question was if it was going to hang up in the air for too long. That ball was hit a mile into the air, but it was also hit pretty far, and ultimately neither outfielder was able to make a play on it with 2 outs. The runner from first base, Cormier, was running on contact, and once that ball fell to the ground, there was really no shot to get Cormier, and just in time to break out of her slump, Emily Pierre-Gustavo, 2 RBIs and 2 hits.
Missing a home run only by a matter of feet out to left center field, but now in scoring position at second base. And Wachusett, after taking a 3-0 lead in this game, has given it back. And now it's Maggie Farrell with a flare out to shallow right center field, down for a hit, and it's misplayed out in center by Lanfer, and that will allow Pierre-Gustavo to come around to score, and Milford will take a 4-3 lead.
And Tim, it's been a story of these playoffs. The bottom of the order production, it might not seem like much, but Shannon Cormier drawing a 1-out walk as the number 9 hitter. She comes around to score. It just extends the inning to the top of the order. Kate Irwin does fly out, but that could have been the 3rd out of the inning if Cormier wasn't able to get on. Instead, it gets it to the big bats for Milford. Pierre-Gustavo coming through with a 2-out RBI double, and now Maggie Farrell just continues to add to her playoff leading RBI total, give her number 12. An RBI single, a little flare out to right field. Larea can't come in and make the play, and Milford is back in business with a 1-run lead.
One of the softer hit balls that we've seen off of Maggie Farrell's bat all season, but also one of the biggest hits of her varsity career as she gives Milford their first lead of the state championship game, up 4-3, and a chance now for Jess Tomaso with Farrell at first and 2 outs in the inning. The pitch from Strasser is hit hard out to right field towards the line. A diving attempt, and that ball just foul. It was past the reach of Jordan Larea, who dove towards the line. But fortunate for the Lady Mountaineers as that ball landed just inside foul territory.
I kind of thought it was odd. Larea seemed to get to that ball rather quickly. She did miss it, but she's really hugging that line down the right field line. She's only a couple steps away when that ball's slicing towards the foul line. She almost was able to make a spectacular play.
Here's the 0-1 now, and that hits the outside edge, and Tomaso down in the count. 0-2 just so far today. A strikeout in the first. She did single to lead off the 3rd inning.
And Coach DeVito is barking at the home plate umpire.
And now the 0-2 pitch is high. Even the head coaches have to keep their emotions in check in a game of this magnitude.
Well, that ball was clearly outside that second strike to Tomaso, but
here's the 1-2 now, and Tomaso sends it off the backstop to keep the at-bat going.
It's amazing to think that even with 2 hits and a couple RBIs for Milford in this inning, you're still not out of the woods if you're Wachusett, just getting really into the meat of this order.
Another 1-2 pitch, and this is a line drive out to right field. That's in for a hit, played on a hop by Larea. Maggie Farrell digging for third. Here's the throw, and she is safe at third base. Just getting the foot in there ahead of the tag. Farrell digging all the way. It was a very close play. A good throw in from right field by Larea, but not in time as Farrell is safe, and now another potential run for Milford stands at third with Tomaso at first after the single, and it keeps on going now for the captain, Caitlin DeCapua.
And Farrell smiling as she slid into third base, not because she was safe, but because she ran through Coach DeVito's stop sign, just continued all the way on to third, was almost out at third base, but it doesn't matter, she's in there.
And now the first pitch to DeCapua is hit slowly towards the circle. It's fielded cleanly by Strasser. She tosses to first for the out that ends the inning. But a big inning for the Lady Scarlet Hawks as Emily Pierre-Gustavo comes through with an RBI double. Maggie Farrell follows suit with an RBI single. And Milford turns a 3-2 deficit into a 4-3 lead. But still a long way to go in this one. The 5th inning begins in this Division I state championship game when we come back next on Milford TV. Milford now with 4 runs on 8 hits. They take the lead after 2 clutch runs batted in by Pierre Gustavo and Farrell. And now Atherton looking to protect that 1-run lead, as she'll face off against the number 9 batter, Paige Arvidsson, to lead off the 5th. Arvidsson drove in what at the time was the 3rd run of the day for Wachusett to give the team a 3-0 lead. That lead has now been erased, and Milford has been able to leapfrog in front, chipping away over the course of the game, scoring 2 in the 2nd and then 2 in the 4th to take the lead. But a quick 2-ball, no-strike count on Arvidsson.
Well, it certainly hasn't been a pitcher's duel, especially by the standards of these 2 pitchers.
Atherton now with the 2-0 pitch. And that hits the batter. And she will head down to first base. Now each starter has hit a batter in this one. And a big play as Atherton hits the number 9 hitter and puts a base runner on with nobody out. And now the top of the order coming to the plate, Jordan Larea, who is 0 for 2. We'll see if they have her bunting here. Instead, she swings away at the first pitch and fouls it off.
Kind of interesting when you look at the game trend so far. You usually see it the other way around, but Allie Atherton has had success against 1 through 3 hitters in this Wachusett lineup. None of the 3 hitters have produced a hit so far, so Atherton hoping for the same trend with a runner on first and no outs.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Now Larea is bunting, but she sends it foul off to the right. And she's down in the count, 0-2.
Seen that a couple of times out of the Lady Mountaineers. Swing at the first pitch, foul it off, or swing through it, and then bunt on the second one. Just kind of put yourself in a hole if you want to get a bunt down. You're already limiting yourself with 1 less strike.
Maybe trying to serve as a decoy, but it also takes away an opportunity to get that bunt down with less than 2 strikes. Now on the 0-2 pitch, Larea swings away, and she goes down on strikes. There's the first strikeout for Allie Atherton in this state title game.
The first and only her 6th over the last 4 games. Only 1 against Hopkinton in the Division I South semifinal. None against Silver Lake in the final. 4 against the Lady Tigers of Newton North, and now her first one tonight.
A big first out, and now a pop foul off the bat of the number 2 hitter.
Great play in the stands. A fan coming away with a nice catch. No glove either.
So it is Taylor Tornberg who takes the at-bat here in the number 2 spot. So Cammie Sperling done in this game. And we'll see if Tornberg can come through in the pinch hitting spot. Lets that pitch go as it drops in too low. Sperling in 2 at-bats had gone 0 for 2. And now the 1-1 pitch, and she hits it hard, but foul off the backstop. Paige Arvidsson, remains at first base with 1 down, and a 1-ball, 2-strike count on the right-handed swinging Taylor Tornberg. And Atherton ready. Here is the 1-2 pitch, and it's a soft line drive into foul territory where Jess Tomaso is there to make the catch for out number 2.
So whether it be Sperling or Tornberg, still no success against Atherton from the number 2 spot. 0 for 3. Sperling had grounded out and lined out, and now Tornberg pops up to the first baseman Tomaso for the 2nd out of the inning.
And that leaves it up to the starting pitcher, Liv Strasser. She is twice grounded out, once to short and once to third. And now swings at the first pitch and drives it in the air out to center field. Kate Irwin there. She has it in the glove, and that ends things in the top half of the 5th inning. So despite the hit by pitch to lead off the frame, Atherton able to get the next 3 hitters. And we move on now to the bottom half of the fifth. It is Milford 4 and Wachusett 3 in coverage of the Division I state championship game on Milford TV. We've reached the bottom of the fifth inning now from the Division I state championship game from Rockwood Park on the campus of Worcester State University, where it is a 4-3 Lady Hawks lead. Emily Hartman, first pitch swinging, grounds one into the circle. Strasser from her knees, able to fire to first base. And with one pitch, Strasser able to grab the first out of the frame.
And the struggles for Emily Hartman continue. We thought that hit by pitch back in the second inning would kind of get her going, but since then she's flown out to the shortstop, Lloyd, and then now grounded out to the pitcher, Strasser, who makes an easy throw onto Griffin. So the struggles continue for Emily Hartman.
One down now for Kelly Reichert, who lines one hard off the backstop. Kelly was able to beat out an infield single in the second inning. It proved to be a crucial play as she sent one deep in the hole at shortstop, was able to beat the throw, and she eventually came around to score one of the 2 runs Milford put up in that inning.
That was just Reichert's 4th hit of the playoff. She came in 3 for 13 with an RBI, but so far playing a big role, even though it's only her 4th hit, proved to pay dividends.
And now another foul ball off the backstop, and Reichert is down in the count, 1-2. Some anxious faces throughout the crowd here as this game gets into a crucial stage. Here's the 1-2 offering, and it's again fought off foul by Reichert. Kelly in her junior year playing a pivotal role in the success of this team in the regular season in the pitcher circle, as she and Allie Atherton shared time through the regular season, but it has been Allie's moment in the postseason. And Kelly at the plate now, a swing and a miss, goes down for out number 2.
And just staying on Reichert for a minute, it's comforting to know for Coach DeVito that he has another top of the rotation arm to turn to. Atherton, of course, graduating this year, really left her mark on this program, but Reichert, I mean, she pitched to a 1.15 earned run average, so the program is in good hands, at least for next season, as far as pitching is concerned.
There are 2 outs now in the bottom of the fifth. Maddie Bonvino takes a look at a called strike 1. Maddie 0 for 2 so far. And now sends one foul off the backstop, and Strasser 1 strike away from bringing a quick end to the bottom of the fifth.
Looking for her first 1-2-3 inning. The closest she got was back in the 3rd inning when she only faced 4 Lady Hawks.
Maddie Bonvino, the only member of the starting lineup to not reach base so far in this game, as she is just able to hold up on the swing on that high pitch out of the hand of Liv Strasser. Now a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
And Bonvino wanted it too. Strasser pulled the string on that pitch, had Bonvino way out in front.
And now this one slapped out to shortstop, and reaching out is Kiana Lloyd to make the catch. And so there is the first 1-2-3 inning of the game for Liv Strasser. And that concludes the 5th inning of play. We head into the later stages of this Division I state championship game. It is Milford 4 and Wachusett 3. We will continue our playoff coverage next on Milford TV. Still a 4-3 lead for Milford. They have 6 outs left to get, but 6 crucial outs. And Wachusett will bring batters 4, 5, and 6 to the plate in this 6th inning. It's been tough work out there for Allie Atherton so far. But outside of that tough second inning, she's really been able to contain this Wachusett offense. All of the damage done in terms of runs scored came back in that second inning. Wachusett has collected just 1 hit off of Allie Atherton outside of that second inning. So it will be Bridget Griffin to lead off the top of the 6th. She swings at the first pitch and sends it just past the reach of the shortstop, Emily Pierre Gustavo. It drifts out into left field, and Griffin is on with a leadoff base hit.
And Emily Pierre Gustavo was just inches away from a highlight reel play, diving to her right. Not a very hard hit ball off the bat of Griffin, but almost a great play by Pierre Gustavo. A couple more inches and she would have had a great catch, but well placed by Griffin, and the leadoff runner is on.
At first glance, it looked like Pierre Gustavo wouldn't even come close to that ball. In the end, she was quick to close, and Was just inches away from making the play. Now she has another chance here. The underhand toss to second for the out there. No chance to complete the double play. But to one knee, Pierre Gustavo able to secure it. And they cut down the lead runner at second base.
Obviously a big out for Atherton, but it's interesting to note that the last time Atherton allowed the lead runner to get on was back in the second inning. It was Griffin. Obviously she's retired now on the fielder's choice, but that was the inning that Wachusett came away with 3 runs. So something to look out for the rest of this inning.
And now first pitch swinging. This one sent back to the circle. Atherton with some trouble. She's able to get the throw to first base for the out there, and aggressive running for Courtney Lanfer as she was able to go first to third. Caught Milford a little bit by surprise as she rounded hard around that second base bag. And the throw to third base was not in time, so Milford able to collect the second out at first base, but Wachusett able to get the tying run to third.
I like the aggressiveness by Lanfer on that one, realizing you're down by a run. Now only 4 outs remaining to try to get that 1 run back, but it was a risk because Caitlin DeCapua was still on the left side of the diamond covering third base. A better throw, that ball kind of took her down the line towards home plate. A better throw by Tommaso would have had the chance to cut down Lanford trying to steal that extra base. But putting pressure on defenses often forces the defense to make mistakes, and that's what we saw there. Not an error by any means, but not a great throw either, and Lanfer is safe at third. Now 2 outs in the inning, but there is a runner only 90 feet away. Well, 60 feet.
And also good awareness really on the base paths for Lanfer. No doubt if Atherton had secured that ball cleanly in her glove, she would have hung up at second base, but after she saw the bobble and Atherton struggling to make the play, she knew that that was going to take a longer time to develop at first base. So taking the chance with a lot riding on the line here in the late innings of this game, and it pays off at least to the point of Lanfer getting safely into third. Again, that potential run ever so close, and a chance now for Kiana Lloyd at the plate. And the at-bat to begin. Here's the pitch from Atherton, and it misses away for ball 1. Kiana Lloyd singling back in the second inning. She reached on a fielder's choice in the fourth. So 1 for 2.
Boy, I bet she's hoping for another single right now to tie this ball game.
Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's framed up by Hartman, but ruled ball 2.
It's hard to see Coach DeVito from our broadcast position, but that pitch was called a strike against Jess Tommaso just a couple innings ago, and now it's going as a ball against Atherton.
So now a 2-0 count, the next pitch on the way, and sent foul off the backstop. And as you've no doubt seen over the course of the game, this backstop very close to the plate here at Rockwood Park. And as a result, the infielders have to keep their head on a swivel for those ricochets back right towards the playing surface.
Yeah, it's got a good bounce back too, but it also means that a pass ball by Hartman may or may not be able to score Lanfer from third base. You have to think a ball would have to go up one of the lines, whether it be the first or third base line, to score Lanfer.
Now the 2-1 pitch, and this is in the air out to right field and into the glove of Shannon Cormier. And Wachusett will strand the tying run at third base. They threaten, but they do not score in the top half of the 6th inning, leaving Milford just 3 defensive outs away from their potential 3rd state championship in 6 seasons. But first, they will come to the plate in the bottom half of the 6th inning. That is next here on Milford TV. Shannon Cormier ready to get this bottom of the 6th inning started right after securing the final out of the top half of the inning. Wachusett getting that tying run to third base, but a fly ball out off the bat of Kiana Lloyd keeps Milford's lead intact. Now a slow roller deep in the hole at short, and too much speed for Shannon Cormier. She flies down the line and beats the throw for an infield base hit.
And the bottom of the order production continues from Shannon Cormier. That's now her 5th hit in these playoffs. Now 5 for 14. She also walked in this game, so she's been on base twice. And it was her walk back in the 4th inning that really sparked the Milford rally when they scored 2 runs. And that's where we stand now, 4-3.
Here is Kate Irwin, and Irwin takes the first pitch for ball 1. Kate has twice attempted to get bunts down. Both times she's popped it up. However, she also has a key infield base hit in this game that brought a run home.
Kind of interesting. She's swinging the bat better now than she is bunting or slap hitting.
And a lot of rising pitches out of the hand of Liv Strasser, no doubt a little bit more difficult to properly execute a bunt. Here's a 2-0 pitch now, and that hits the inside part of the plate for a called strike.
That one was right down Irwin's strike zone right there. Probably would have been a good pitch to hit.
Now the 2-1 offering. This time she swings the bat, but can't make contact, and the count evens at 2.
And a lot of times when that pitch is on the outside part of the plate, like that one was, it's tough for a slap hitter to get to. That's why I thought the first one was a little bit better of a pitch to hit, because it was on the inside part of the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch is lifted in the air and foul ground down the left field side. That lands harmlessly foul right in front of our on-field cameraman Malcolm Zale, capturing all of the action just beyond the Milford third base dugout. And it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Kate stays alive. Here's the next pitch. And this time she sends it on a line foul off the side of the backstop, just in front of where a lot of the Milford fans are set up.
They're everywhere, even all out in the outfield. 2/3 of the outfield fence is lined with red.
Another 2-2 pitch and another foul ball. So Kate Irwin hanging tough with this 2-ball, 2-strike count. Kate overall for 2017, a .437 batting average with 16 runs batted in out of the leadoff spot. Also a total of 9 steals. She sends this ball out to shallow left field. It drops in for a base hit. That will move Cormier up to second base. Kate's second hit of the day. And Milford setting the table now for their big bats. They have 2 on with nobody out. And here comes Emily Pierre-Gustavo to the plate. And no one in this Milford lineup has had a better day than Emily Pierre-Gustavo so far, rounding back into her MVP form right at the most critical of times. A hit in the first inning, a sacrifice fly in the second, an RBI double to tie the game in the 4th inning. And now swings at the first pitch and fouls it away right over into the Rockwood Park concession stand for a first pitch strike.
Yeah, a little bit of anxiousness there from Pierre-Gustavo, realizing she's hot now. Boy, she's flipped the switch from on to off. And as you said, at the perfect time.
Here's the 0-1, and that misses outside.
Had gone hitless in her last 2 games. But Pierre-Gustavo coming through clutch in this one. And she's looking to add to the Milford lead now with a runner in scoring position.
2 on with nobody out, the 1-1 pitch, and this is a line drive out to left field, and it clanks out of the glove of Hallie Martin, but they will hold Cormier at third base. They don't want a chance making the first out of the inning at the plate, and so instead it will be a bases loaded situation with nobody out in this 6th inning, and who else but Maggie Farrell striding to the plate.
Well, hindsight is always 20/20 vision, Tim, but Coach DeVito probably had a chance to send Cormier, and she would have been safe. The ball was bobbled out in left field by Martin, and then the throw home was well offline. But with the big batters coming up now with Maggie Farrell.
And Farrell takes the first pitch for a called strike 1. Maggie so far today has a pair of hits, a single in the first and an RBI bloop base hit in the 4th inning that gave Milford the 4-3 lead that they now enjoy. And now the 0-1 pitch. She sends it foul to the backstop, and Farrell quickly down in the count, 0-2. And obviously, at this point in the game, you look at the scoreboard, you see that 6th inning. And as a senior on this team, you have to wonder, is this my last at bat?
And this could be deja vu for Farrell. Jacked a grand slam against Norwood.
Here is the pitch, and she lets it go. It misses high. A 1-ball, 2-strike count. The next one on the way, and this is lifted in the air out to left field. Settling underneath it is Martin. They will tag at third base, and in to score comes Shannon Cormier. She scores without a throw, so credit Maggie Farrell with a sacrifice fly. Not one of the more flashy at-bats out of Maggie Farrell, but in the end, an important insurance run crosses the plate as Milford takes a 5-3 lead.
Great hitting that time by Maggie Farrell, just doing anything she can to get a ball in the air. She fell behind in that count. Got a pitch that was good enough to hit, flared it out to left field. Martin with a double clutch, no shot to get Cormier.
And now here's Tommaso. Swings at that first pitch, lines it hard off the backstop, and it immediately comes right back in towards the plate and heads up for Lizzie Miles behind the dish.
Someone's going to get their head taken off.
So Strasser starts off ahead in the count and now delivers that one maybe a little bit up, a little bit outside, and the count evens at 1-1.
Tommaso did hit 4 home runs, and as you mentioned, led this team with 40 RBIs over the course of the season.
Here's the 1-1 pitch, and another foul ball. We've seen Tommaso send a number of them up and over this first base side and off into the trees behind the bleachers.
Yeah, luckily the balls are neon yellow, or else you wouldn't be finding these.
So now the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Strasser back into the wind. Here's the pitch, and it's lined out to right field for a base hit. Here comes Kate Irwin around from third base. The throw to the plate is offline. Irwin slides in safely. The runners advance to second and third as Milford takes a 6-3 lead.
And what a time for some of these Milford hitters who had been quiet over the last couple games to finally break out. We see it with Emily Pierre-Gustavo, 3 hits on the day, 2 RBIs. Jess Tommaso, she did have an RBI single against Newton North, but overall she's been kind of quiet over the last couple games. She's now 3 for 4 with an RBI, so these Milford hitters that they needed to rely on through most of the season, it had been Allie Atherton who had pitched them to this point so far, but now the Milford Bats are leading the way in this game.
And now DeCapua, first pitch swinging, sends one out to center field. The catch is made by Lanford. The tag by Pierre-Gustavo. She will score. Tripped up by the catcher as the ball came in hot up over the head of Lizzie Miles, but she comes back to make contact with the plate. Another sacrifice fly in this inning, this time off the bat of the senior captain, Caitlin DeCapua, and Milford now opens up a 4-run advantage, up 7-3.
And DeCapua, who had been one of the more hot hitters coming into this game, has cooled off a little bit in this game, was 0 for 3 before her at bat in this inning, but gets the job done. Flying out to center field, but it was deep enough to score Pierre-Gustavo, and Milford tacking on a few insurance runs in this inning. Kind of an underrated play. Good job by Pierre-Gustavo to come back and retouch home plate after almost a collision between her and the catcher Miles. Doing a great job, good awareness, good softball IQ. Realizing she didn't touch home plate originally, going back to touch it, ensuring that Milford gets that 7th run.
And you wonder if maybe they'll charge an error out in right field on that throw that came up over the head of Miles that allowed Jess Tommaso to advance to third base now with 2 outs. So if so, that would be the second Wachusett error of the inning. So Tommaso is at third base with 2 down. And now the youngest player in this starting lineup, the sophomore Emily Hartman, with another state championship at bat. Taking the first pitch for ball 1 so far tonight. Hartman was hit by a pitch in the second inning before lining out to shortstop in the third and then grounding out back to the pitcher's circle in the 5th. Skies the 1-0 pitch out to shallow left field, where it is the shortstop, Kiana Lloyd, out towards the line on the outfield grass to make the catch, and that brings an end to the bottom of the 6th inning, but not before Milford played some crucial insurance runs, and they will now carry a 7-3 lead into the 7th inning. The Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks are 3 outs away from a Division I state championship. Can they finish it off? We will find out when we come back next here on Milford TV. And so it all comes down to this. We have reached the 7th inning from Rockwood Park on the campus of Worcester State University, where Milford carries a 7-3 lead. They plated 3 absolutely pivotal insurance runs in the bottom half of the 6th, scoring 3 times on 4 hits. RBIs from Farrell, Tommaso, and DeCapua. Once more, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters leading the way. And so Allie Atherton returns to the pitcher's circle, now staked to a 4-run lead. Her 2 fellow senior captains doing their part, contributing offensively in the bottom of the 6th, and now this senior captain in the circle looking to cap off what has been a simply sensational postseason run. 5 victories through Milford's first 5 playoff games, and Allie now 3 outs away from delivering the state championship back home to Milford. And Wachusett now making their last stand. Sending batters 8, 9, and 1 to the plate. The Milford fans once again raising their voices as this ball is floated back to the circle. Atherton can't make the catch, but she recovers to get the out at first. A running step ahead of Abby Symes. She was busting down the line. Atherton couldn't make the catch in the air, but she collects the 1-3 ground out, and the championship now 2 outs away.
You know, I've always wondered, Tim, if that's a tough play for the pitcher, either having to field that ball in the air or on the ground. You're so used to throwing underhand, then you have to make a good throw overhand, but Atherton handled it just about as well as you could.
1 out now, and this ball floated out to right field. Back goes Cormier. She's able to make the catch, and Paige Arvidsson drives it out to right field, but she is out number 2. Atherton has needed just 2 pitches to collect 2 outs in this 7th inning, and now the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks stand just 1 out away, and Allie Atherton calls in the entire infield for what could be their final conference in the circle in this 2017 year. This Milford team making it all the way to the final game of the year, and they have just 1 out left to get, and as we have seen now for each of these last playoff games, Emily Pierre-Gustavo with a few final words alone in the circle with Atherton before this at-bat commences. Wachusett sends up their leadoff batter, Jordan Larea, and she takes the pitch a little bit outside for ball 1.
And I'm surprised Wachusett was swinging at the first pitch in these first couple of bats of the 7th inning. A lot of times you'll see batters be a little bit more patient, try to get a runner on any way you can, but not for Wachusett.
Here is the 1-0 pitch, and it is lifted in the air in foul territory in front of the Milford dugout. Caitlin DeCapua makes the catch, and the ball game is over, and the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks celebrate on the infield. Milford once again is Division I state champions. It happened in 2012, they repeated in 2013, and now this new generation of Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks celebrate. They reach the mountaintop, and they are the Division I state champions. A 7-3 victory here in come-from-behind fashion. They had to dig deep through the middle innings, but in the end, Milford able to get it done, and Allie Atherton, true to form, dominates in this 7th inning, getting 3 very quick outs. No drama at all in this 7th inning as the Lady Scarlet Hawks finish it off. And what a moment out on the field, Anthony, as this team has claimed their 3rd state championship.
This is just an incredible feeling for the Milford Lady Hawks. Haven't lost a game since April 7th. And they have now won 25 games in a row. And it ends tonight with a 7-3 win over the Lady Mountaineers of Wachusett. What a great game. Milford, Allie Atherton wasn't at her best in this game compared to normal standards. 3 runs over 7 innings. She had been locked down the past couple of games. But she battled through a lot since that 2nd inning, pitched out of a couple of jams, and Milford, the bats finally came through after kind of being stuck in that not too hot but not too cold either, only a couple runs in the past couple of games. But Milford finally broke through. A lot of the hitters that had been cold finally heated up, and that's all it took. Milford coming through with a come-from-behind victory and just a phenomenal performance, a phenomenal season for these Lady Hawks. Coach DeVito and a couple of players had said a lot of people counted them out. After Shannon Smith left, they never thought they'd be able to be back to this point. I mean, Shannon Smith was dominant. That Milford team those past couple of years was just unhittable. But now this Milford team proving a lot of people wrong, and they are now worthy to be called the Division I state champs.
A single loss on opening day of this 2017 season, and Milford ran the table from there. 19 consecutive victories in the regular season, matched up now with 6 victories in the 2017 playoffs. And so Milford will conclude this regular season with a record of 25-1. And most importantly, they win the final game they play in 2017 to claim the state championship. And we will now see championship trophies placed, or should I say championship ribbons around the next, championship medals for all of these Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks players. They will be placed around their necks by the athletic director for this Milford program, Peter Boucher. And Peter Boucher now with his first state championship at the helm of this athletic department. He has done so much to turn around the culture of Milford athletics. A lot of enthusiasm, a lot of exuberance, and now he gives hugs down the line as he awards those medals. And also on the other end of the line, it is the outgoing principal of Milford High School, Carolyn Bannock, in her final days as the principal of Milford High School, as she will move on to Framingham. But what a send-off she has, as now she gets to congratulate this hard-working Milford team on this state championship. And just an overflow of emotion out on the field right now, Anthony.
Yeah, it really is, and especially for the three seniors, Caitlin DeCapua, Maggie Farrell, and Allie Atherton, three major contributors, not only this season, but over the course of their 4 years. And they were the three that really they came in after those back-to-back state championship runs. They were here for the 2014, 15, 16, and now the 17 seasons, and they were the ones that really kind of had to build off those Shannon Smith years. I mean, you win 2 state championships back-to-back, you got a lot of pressure on your shoulders, and when you're that incoming class and you know you're going to be the leaders of that program for 4 years to come, it took them 3 years to get here. They struggled a little bit in the MIAA Division I South District Tournament, but all that matters is where you end up, and they ended up state champions. So congratulations to not only the whole Milford squad, but really those 3 seniors. And on the Wachusett side, also a great season. Hats off to the Lady Mountaineers. They have nothing to be embarrassed about. Obviously, one team had to go home a loser. The Lady Mountaineers had a fantastic season, played their hearts out all year, so they deserve all the credit in the world as well. And they're a team, as we mentioned a little bit in the broadcast, that has been knocking on the door. They've improved and whatever, so this could be an up-and-coming team out of the Division I Central. So congratulations to Wachusett, but hats off to the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks.
And so Wachusett now lifts their trophies as the runners-up here for Division I. And again, a lot of credit goes to this Wachusett team playing in their first ever state championship game in school history, and they were able to get out to a 3-0 lead in this game. They were unfortunately unable to make that lead hold up, and now the Milford captains hoist the trophy, and they are immediately mobbed by the rest of their teammates as the award presentation comes to an end out on the field. An iconic moment for these players. And again, to your point, Anthony, these players looked on as middle school students as those Lady Scarlet Hawks teams were winning back-to-back championships in 2012 and 2013, dreaming of the day they might have the opportunity to play at this level. And they got here today on the back of an incredible run through the regular season and the playoffs, and they finished the job, mission accomplished for this Lady Hawks team as they claim their Division I state championship. What a way to end our coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics for this 2016-2017 school year. An incredible year of athletic coverage that we were so excited to be a part of all season long here on Milford TV. And to walk away with our final coverage here of the state championship, you cannot ask for more than that. We're very appreciative of all the help we received from Peter Boucher and all of the teams throughout the 3 seasons for Milford High School this year. And a great way to end it here, enjoying the state championship game. It was a pleasure to bring it to you, as it was a pleasure to bring you all of the coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics we had this year. And we have to thank our crew first and foremost that were here for a lot of those games over the course of this season. Our director for the game today, John Giacomuzzi. Our Milford TV executive director and cameraman for the game today, Rob O'Keefe. Malcolm Zale also on camera for the game today. And Anthony Mazzini, my broadcast partner. We had a lot of other help along the way over the course of this season. And so we thank everyone who helped be a part of this Milford TV coverage for this athletic year. And Anthony, we had a chance to have you for the start of the winter sports season. We had you for the end here for the spring sports season, and certainly a nice way to go out here on the state title game.
Yeah, this has been great. So thank you to Milford TV. This is about my 3rd year doing this, and it's just been great, great experience for me when I'm home for breaks from Syracuse University. So this is great. Thank you, Tim and Rob and Malcolm and John, and also Timber City, who I've done a couple games with, for all the laughs and the road trips and stuff like that. It's really been a great time, and I really love doing this. I love coming back. As much as I love school, I love coming back because I get to call games for my alma mater, and it doesn't really get much better than this, but what a way for this season to end. I covered some of the baseball team, and now I get to cover some of the softball team, and both had fantastic runs, but the Lady Scarlet Hawks coming through with a Division I state championship. And what a way to go out. What a way to end our coverage. It's been great, so thank you everyone for listening. And Tim, I'll have you sign us off for the final time of this 2016-2017 season.
We will certainly effort to get some interviews down at field level. I have a feeling some of the Milford players won't be so shy in talking to us in front of our cameras, so we'll look forward to getting those interviews to you. And that will wrap up our coverage here. Again, thank you to all of our Milford TV crew. And I am Tim Coette. Your final score, one final time. Milford, the last team standing in Division I. They defeat Wachusett 7-3. And celebrate, Milford fans. Your team is the state champions. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
joined now by the winning pitcher of this Division I state championship game. Allie, you're a state champion. How does it feel?
It's amazing. I can't believe it right now. It hasn't set in yet. I can't believe it. I just keep on saying, what the hell is happening? I don't even know. This is crazy. It was a hard game, but I mean, we fought the whole time and we came out winners, so.
You had a little bit of a tough inning there in the second. Wachusett able to take the lead. What happened there in that inning? What was Wachusett able to do, and how did you counter that over the next innings?
The difference with this team is that they crowd the plate so much that my curveball wasn't working. I had to change it in the third inning. I noticed that at the end of the second inning that curveball isn't going to work at all. So I just adjusted to them, and I mean, I held them off balance pretty well the rest of the game. So.
How much of a confidence boost was it to you to see your offense come to the plate in that very next inning and score 2 runs to bring you right back in it?
That was awesome. The 6th inning, we did so well. That really helped us, and we just kept on saying 3 more outs, and we did it. Yeah.
Throughout this playoff run, you've talked about that chip that you guys had on your shoulder as this program turned over. You watched those state championship games as middle school students. Now to be here at the mountaintop, to keep this program at the highest level, that has to feel good.
Yeah, I mean, I remember coming here in 8th grade and 7th grade. I was sitting out in left field. I was watching them. After the game, Caitlin DeCapo and I came out here and we pretended to play on the field, that we were going to be here one day, and we are. And I can't believe it. It's just crazy. I can't believe it.
And talk about your fellow senior captains. You guys now win your final game to go out as champions.
Yeah.
That's a special feeling for you 3 to enjoy together.
I mean, in the second inning, after that, I said I wasn't gonna play my last game in a Milford uniform and lose. I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna accept it. I think we all did. We all kept the team balanced during the rest of the game, and we came out winners. So I mean, we did well today.
State champions. Congratulations, Allie.
Thank you.
Here now with the senior captain, Caitlin DeCapo. Caitlin, you caught the final out of the state championship game. What was that moment like for you?
I just knew right away I'm getting this last out. No matter where it is, where the ball was hit, I was going to get it. And it felt awesome. It really did.
You guys only briefly trailed in that game against Norwood. Other than that, you've played from ahead through most of this playoff tournament. What was it like after that second inning being down by 3 runs?
You know, I knew not to get, too into the game. Like, it didn't mean anything. We still treated it as if we were winning, and, we came out on top.
This has been an intense environment here at Worcester State. It's been a lively crowd all day. How different was this environment here today compared to the other games you've played so far in the playoffs?
I see every game as the same game. Like, I see this as just any other game, We can't treat it as it's too big or too small of a game, because at the end of the day, it's all the same,
So you win your final game in a Milford uniform. You go out as a state champion. What are the emotions like for you?
Unbelievable. I mean, I can barely, words can't describe how grateful I am for this opportunity. It hasn't hit me yet, but I'm sure it will.
Go have fun with your teammates. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And now joined by the 3rd senior captain on this state championship Milford squad, Maggie Farrell. Maggie, you go out in your your senior season as a state champion. Tell me what that feels like.
It feels amazing, especially starting as a freshman. We had a tough run and losing, I don't remember, in the playoffs, something, but honestly it feels so great to go out as a state champion as a senior.
You were able to produce at the plate once again, some crucial runs batted in as your team came back, overcame that 3-run deficit. Talk about your mentality at the plate during this game.
And a couple times at bat there were girls in position to score, so I was just focused on getting the ball in play somewhere where they could score.
Liv Strasser was such a tough pitcher during the regular season and through this playoff run, but it seemed like you guys had her sized up pretty well, especially after those early innings. What were you able to do to adjust to what she was trying to do on the pitcher circle?
Honestly, we just had to wait for our pitches. She was throwing a lot of strikes, a lot of first pitch strikes, and as long as we just waited for them to come, we knew they were going to.
Caitlin DeCapo, your fellow senior captain, collects that 3rd out in what was a very quick top of the 7th inning. What were those emotions like on the field in those moments after you first knew that you were a state champion?
It was the best feeling in the world. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just a great feeling.
When you look back over your 4 years here with Milford High School, the fact now that you're ending as the state champion after all of the close calls in the playoffs, all the hard work that you've put in, talk about that and ending your career here on top.
It's definitely been a long 3 months, but ending this way is the best way to go out, definitely.
Well, congratulations on all of the hard work. Enjoy the state championship, Maggie.
Thank you so much.
Here now with the offensive hero of the night, Emily Pierre-Gustavo. Emily, you drove in some of the biggest runs of this game when your team needed you the most. What were those at-bats like for you coming through in the clutch here in the state championship?
My mentality was to just get base runners, and if there were base runners on, get them over, get them in any way that I could. If it was a ground ball, anything to get our team up.
You were named the Hockomock League MVP after an impressive regular season. Did that put any pressure on your shoulders as these playoffs went on?
Not really. We just had to keep playing our game. I had to keep playing my game, and then I knew we'd be fine.
You started off trailing this game 3-0. It happened really quickly in that third inning. What were the emotions like in the dugout after you guys came back after Wachusett was able to put up those 3 runs?
The word in the dugout was stay calm, stay off the emotional roller coaster, just be ourselves, basically. Don't let anything get too high, don't get too low. Just kind of bounce back and play our game, and we did.
So you win your final game here. You still have a season left coming up, just a junior on this team. But what does it feel like now enjoying the state championship?
I'm going to enjoy the moment, and in the moment, I know it's fantastic. There's honestly, these girls have worked so hard. I'm so proud of every single one of them, and I couldn't imagine doing it with any other girls, and I'm just so happy.
Your senior captains led the way this whole season, led the way here tonight. What was their leadership like for this team throughout the year?
Their leadership meant everything to us. If we didn't have those 3 leaders, especially Allie in the mound, Killing at third, and Marge in left, those are 3 of our biggest players. If we didn't have them, I honestly don't think we'd be here.
Emily, congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much.
All right, another offensive star joining us now, Jess Tomaso. Jess, just go through the emotions overall of the state championship game.
Well, we've worked so hard this whole entire season up to this point, and every time we're up to bat, everyone just wants to help our teammate, wants to help Allie out on the mound. So she's up there thinking that you got to get ahead and you want to help all your teammates, and everyone in our lineup has been doing great, getting on base, and it just helps with the whole entire thing. So it's just awesome.
You guys faced a very tough pitcher on the other side in Liv Strasser. She got staked to a 3-run lead early, but you guys didn't seem phased. You came right back out and scored a couple of runs to get back into the game. Talk about that mental toughness out of your offense to answer right back.
Well, they scored the 3 runs in the second inning, so we knew we had a long game ahead of us. We didn't want to get too ahead of ourselves. If we get down, then we're going to throw the whole game away. So we know that we have a great team, we have a great batters, and it was just we knew that we weren't going to just get shut out that inning. So.
Now, you're newer to this program than some of the other girls, transferring from Hopedale a couple of years ago, but as you've gotten immersed into the Milford culture here and a part of this team, what has that process been like for you en route to now winning a state championship?
It's been absolutely awesome, and props to Hopedale, too, because they actually just lost in the state semifinals, but, it's been awesome. I have great teammates behind me, and it's just an awesome experience. I love it here, so.
Congratulations, Jess.
Thank you.
Joined now by another one of Milford's state championship players, Kate Irwin. Kate, it can certainly read on your face right now the excitement, but just go through the emotions of now winning your first high school state championship.
I don't even know. We worked so hard, and at the beginning of the year, we were like, this is our goal. We wanted a state championship. We knew this was our year, that we could get it, and we worked so hard. And after the first loss in time, we were like, we didn't want to lose again. We wanted to keep going. We rolled over teams, and we won. We won.
You think back to the last couple of seasons, you guys have had incredible regular season performances, but coming up just short in the playoffs. What was it that was different about this team coming into this season?
Well, we had I'm just so excited. We just all wanted it so bad. The seniors, the 3 seniors, they hadn't gotten it yet. They weren't a part of the team that won back-to-back, and they really wanted it, and they really pushed us for it, and we just worked so hard, and we won.
You guys were trailing early in this game, but your execution over the late innings was top-notch defensively, offensively. Allie finished it off in the circle. Just talk about that attitude, that belief amongst your team that you were going to overcome that deficit and ultimately walk away with the win.
When they scored 3 runs, we were like, no big deal. Like we've come back from a couple runs before, and we always have good bats, and that just set a fire under our butt even more. Like we let them get 3 runs, and then we scored 7 to end the game, and it was great. We were so excited.
What's the celebration going to be like for this team now and the aftermath of the state championship?
We're going to sing on the bus. We're going to sing so loud. Oh, it's going to be so exciting. It's so exciting. It's not going to be not quiet moment on the bus. We're going to be,
A happy bus ride from Worcester back to Milford.
Exactly.
The celebration starts now. Enjoy it,
yes,
Kate.
It does. Thank you.
Joined now by the state championship head coach of the Milford Lady Scarlet Hawks, Steve DeVito. Steve, just first and foremost, what are the emotions running through your head right now?
Don't get me going. I've already cried 3 times. It's a very special group. It's a very special group of, see? this is what happens. It's a very special group of girls. This is 4 years in the making. Excuse me. The hard work that they've put in and day out. The sacrifices. Proving people wrong for 4 years and said that this program was never going to be back on top, and it's all a credit to them for everything that they have done. And you know, they're going home state champions, and they make Milford proud. They really did.
Back in 2012 and 2013, it was your good friend Brian Mackey who led the Lady Scarlet Hawks to those state championships. I know you guys still remain very close. What have the conversations been like between the two of you leading up to the state championship?
Friday afternoon, he sent me a memo, basically, in a text message, and it just shows the relationship we have, and we've continued to talk. He's followed the team for 4 years. A lot of people have put a lot of time into this, and you know, my assistant coach Tim Walsh, the amount of time he's put into it. My former assistant coach and one of my best friends, Kim Danish, the amount of time that she put in. This is a happy cry. I want to point that out. This is not a sad cry. This is a very happy cry. This is a man. What a team! What a win! And I'm just so proud of them. Just so proud of them for how they battled tonight and what they did all year. And those seniors, what a way to go out! What a way to go out!
It was an incredible win, an incredible season, and a very deserved Division I state championship for your team. Coach DeVito, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.